the jungle. Ba, ba, ba. Hey, everyone. How are you today? Well, it is Friday, and it's a great day because strong end of the week is here, and hey, that's pretty far out too. So how are you, Peter? I just read your comment. Cracked me up. you, y'all are just phenomenal people. I love how you said, well, we had two psychics that were in here and gave us the didn't like the presentation before it was presented. You got to admit, that's pretty good. And at least the psychics are coming in. So, yeah. Hey, everyone. How are you? Good to see you. I hope that you are in good spirits and whatever that may be. And you're enjoying the day. It's a fabulous day. Got to share this with you. So, my office is in here and got, et cetera. So I was carrying in from the kitchen 2 glasses of liquids. One was hot and one was cold. And have you ever been able to do interdimensional thinking? When you're still in this dimension, but you're literally in somewhere else. And the thought came to me, because I looked at this and it was so profound. We've all had those epiphany moments. And here I'm looking down this and the thought came, 2 different universes, but of the same substance. Wow. Think about that. Yeah. So just want to say hello, everyone. Hey, Twisted Isby, how are you doing, my friend? Al, how are you? We're going to get Al on when we do the moderator. Al, you can actually do a call in. So we got things covered. Hey, Diana Reeves, how are you doing? 7-piece, so good. Claire, 74, good to see you. Nina the Mystic, hello. Greg, good to see you. Paul Hall, I love that. Marguerite, good to see you. Karen Cloud, you made a video, good. Send me the link, email it, and I love this. Listen, all of us should be making. Hey, Hallie, how are you doing? And Rod, good to see you. Susie Koo, I was listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival. And yeah, Jessica, good to see you. Lost in Space. Christopher, hello. JH, good to see you, my dear. Kay, good to see you. Mario, hello. Good to see you as well. Lori, good to see you. Just saying, David, very good to see you, my friend. So, yeah, it really was a tripping idea. Think about it. I mean, one was hot tea. The other one was fresh juice, right? The substance that's the same is obviously the liquid, but 2 different universes. People ask me sometimes, what is this channel about? And, I tell them it's a living classroom. We come in here and, I challenge all dogmas, theology, philosophies, ideologies. It's time that we do. And yesterday's video, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but wow, it set off a lot of cognitive dissonance. If you go back and you look at the comments, virtually none of them were the same. And what was even more interesting was that none of them really addressed what that video was about. And we're going to review that in a little bit. But anyway, let me just invoke favor upon you this day. May favor find you, and may favor find you favorable. And may joy be in your life this day, and may there be full restoration. I'm beginning to see so much how restoration is a key vital part to this. And may there be nothing missing, nothing broken found in your life this day. Did the fall create the second universe? It's an interesting thing. I wrote earlier in the comments, I said, man was never created. We got to get over these poison scripts Get it in your head. No one went like that and boom, here was a human. No. You can't defy the laws of physical universe and be legit. If you do, you're a fraud. Now, in another universe, another dimension, that may apply, but it doesn't here. Man was manufactured, plain and simple. And whatever was behind the manufacturing is debatable. But count on it. We were, in fact, manufactured, one cell at a time. You know, we've studied some very controversial books here. The Liber Lilith. It's not on any Christian's top 10 reading list. I can assure you of that. It's, you know, or of any other religion. The Liber takes a very free mind, a freed mind, to actually to appreciate and to gain understanding. And Lilith explained it. Now, in that perception, Lilith named every demon that Samuel used in manufacturing the body. And, you know, you just can't deny that. But that's what we're here to do. We learn. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning. And sometimes it's, well, not pleasant. Sometimes it's like, you know, you have to literally step back, and it's like having a piece of beef jerky. You know, you just got to chew on it for a while and just go, all right. And sometimes, you know, you just got to walk away from it and come back to it. So, but here's the thing. We're all learning. I use in these presentations in a classroom setting terminology of fact. I use other pronouns, other adjectives, other sentence structures in a discussion format. Let me just make something very plain to everybody. Number one, yes, there is a creative force. Now, I personally don't believe that it's in the personification of any bipedal being. Whatever is behind all this, we have not yet to begin to comprehend. We've made attempts at it and have failed miserably, but we may get there. I mean, listen, let's be honest. We have about records written records of man going back about 8,000 years ago. I'm about to show you where that blows out the whole biblical thing of the creation story, the 6-day story, folks. Yeah. Anyway, when you look how we have progressed, we have not progressed at all. 2 years ago, I did a video called The 39 First of Mankind. It was written by Dr. Noah Kramer. And the world's renowned sumalarist. He was the first in the world to get a doctorate degree in Sumerology. And the frightening conclusion, and he teaches, I believe it's up in Northwest University, I believe. What I gathered from reading the 2 books I've read on him that he has published, folks, we have not progressed at all. None. Our species, now we can say, yeah, but look at all the technology and all the machines. Yeah, I mean, but we've been doing that from the very beginning. Man has always made machines in one kind to ease his burden. But You look at social structure, theology, political structure, societal structures. They all came from the Sumerians. And if you read the book, which I highly recommend you should, you're going to walk away with a whole different point of view. And that's what we deal with here. I just got a book in, and I will be interlacing it as I read it. I just literally got it in. This is what I really think that we're heading towards. This is, as you can see, gutting mysticism. This book is basically the author, Indel Dale, has written on the fact that all supernatural beliefs, there's a reason why we incorporate mysticism, spookiness, holiness. You don't say this word. You don't think this thought. You don't act this way. You have to follow this rite. You have to take this oath. All of that is man-made. I contend no God has ever manifested before mankind. None. All the modern religions today, they don't have an explanation for what they'll tell you, because I lived that for nearly 50 years, preached it, taught it, that, well, we've got prophecy and look for the signs. Not every generation has its signs. The story never happened. That's the problem. But anyway, we're studying right now. I was going to do it today. We're going to get into the next edition of our study on conjuring spirits for witches, and we're going to continue this. It's necromancy. We're going to begin to understand again. Listen, magic works. Sigil magic works. I mean, we've learned that. We know that. We're going to get into more of the sigil practice. And these sigils open up portals, doorways. It's something that I marvel at. Many of us travel between them. You know, about 2 weeks ago, did a very interesting magic circle, and was experimenting with some techniques that our friend Mr. Barbraeus teaches. Holy shit, folks. Yeah. And so when I present, like yesterday, let me see something here. I don't know why that's not doing that. There we go. Earth. Folks, we're alone. I mean, it's amazing how that presentation invoked so much cognitive dissonance in people. It's a frightening thing to even have to accept the possibility that this is all made up. We've done it ourselves. And if not, then we are an experiment. I mean, I contend, as these programs tend to do, they're interwoven with one another. Something's wrong here. Something doesn't feel right. It's not felt right to me for a long time. And when my religion could no longer validate itself or support itself, and its claims, the individual's left to go, okay, so what do you do now? Well, if you're smart, you're going to go out and you're going to seek. You're going to realize that we're sojourners. Now, I got another one that I'm going to show you that I did almost a year ago today. It's uncanny how these things come about. But getting back, Carl Sagan, as I mentioned on the radio show last night, he saw this. Read his works, particularly before he passed. He saw it. Now, some people say that, well, Sagan never believed in God. That's not true. He never believed in the personification of a God. I mean, what is God? Some white dude that doesn't know how to shave, doesn't know how to get a haircut, sits on some imaginary throne? You know, if I was Asian, if I was another race, that's offensive. Think about it. It's the epitome of racism. So that kind of blows that. So now what are you going to answer me back with? What is your God? What race is your God? You see, that's why you have to begin to strip this away. I'm looking forward to this. There is yet another one I got, and holy, oh man, I just got into it, and I've got to finish what I'm already into. But folks, another great book by the author I just showed you. Endell has also written a book called, this guy, you just got to love that. This one is called The Energetic War Against Humanity. We're seeing some time frames here. 6,000 years ago, 7,000, 8,000, something happened. Something happened, folks. We may be, I don't know, maybe the first as a collective consciousness, maybe to begin to accept the idea that this has been very recent. And if you look at, as I was mentioning last night on the radio show, the Steiger Perspective, we're heading for something. And it's ugly. And, you know, and here's the thing, if you take prophecy as legit, I question if you do, that just means then we're just merely playing the script of the role. But nevertheless, in the current construct of how it's presented and taught, there's this 6,000, 8,000 door. Now, think about this. All the end time prophecies are predicated on this chronology of events. I mean, listen, they went so far to put the genealogy, you know, thus begat, thus begat, thus begat. Okay. Dancer. My talk's over here too. Anyway, she's like, what? So what if this took place 6,000 years ago? Let me show you something. Let me pull this up. I pulled a couple of stories, but I found this one of particular interest. The Chinese. This is in the northern part of China, a Neolithic site, last part of the Stone Age. This is in northeast China. Archaeologists have found 11 elongated skulls belonging both to males and females, ranging from toddlers to adults. We saw the same practice in South America. We've seen it in Egypt. We've seen it all over the world. Very interesting point to all this is that we know now, this is not guesswork, 12,000 years ago. So if this be the case, which it be, we've got some conflicts, serious conflicts. So we know timing, we know ancestral, we know that the genuses of man are varied, split. Something happened. I think that if you look at the Neolithic period, and I don't know if Franny's in here or not, but I'm looking forward to having her on because she is studying anthropology up here in Colorado. And, you know, I cannot believe Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Dennison, who knows what else, never advanced to the point of communication. They had to have. They interbred. We know that. No records. We have drawings. We have shards, fragments. Now we're finding full skeletons. So what happened? Something happened. And this all affects us as sorcerers, magicians, witches, the study of paganism, occultism, Gnosticism. It's all part and parcel. And as information has a tendency to do over long periods of time, we can't keep our shit together in 6 months, much less 6,000 years. Today, and the current trend is that in 100 years, man's going to lose his ability for memory. It's going to depend upon an outside outsourcing it, so to speak. I mean, are we seeing something that is repetitive? Is it unique to our species? Is it unique to our planet? Is it manipulated? Is someone manipulating us? Or are we truly the redheaded bastard child that no one wants? And in the cosmos, we've been discarded. Just to figure it out if you can, and if you can't, well, who's going to remember you in 1 billion years? I mean, these are the questions that have to be asked. And, you know, listen, whether you take occult philosophy, whether you take the Gnosticism, whether you study, you know, Judeo-Christianism, all of these are all predicated on a false belief to begin with. It can't be proven. It can't be validated. It's, again, it would appear that something has regressed us. I have presented my case that said we should be psychic powerhouses. In the book, The Gods of the Garden of Eden, the author brought out the whole thing that something has regressed us. if our IQ, I did a whole series on this. If our IQ, let's just say 10,000 years ago, through the Sumerian record, let's say it was average 100, using today's standards. All right. Let's say we could have progressed 1 IQ point every 100 years. You could do a half. The point is, we should be somewhere way north of 2,000, the average IQ. We're not. We should, because we know this, the cell, in its essence, is not programmed to die. It's programmed to regenerate constantly. Not ours. Hey, I'm just presenting these, and this was what was presented yesterday. And I mean, you know, when you see some of the things, I mean, I think it's so interesting. One person wrote, well, there you go. Right when you were on the right path, you took a right-hand turn. Listen, I'm just going to say this publicly. I'm happy for you if you figured it out. If you have figured it all out, congratulations. Not sure why you're still here, but okay. I haven't. My path still lies ahead of me. And I find it more and more interesting as I progress down my path, how it becomes very noticeable that it's very difficult for people to shake their core beliefs. And I say we have to. Listen, my view of it is this. If you want to take the title as God, creator, whatever, you know, I don't care how you put this on any level, whether you put it on a level of adoration, a level of worship, whatever it is. Your absence after 2,000 years makes you suspect. Now you can say, well, that's not how it's done. Really? I had to send this in an email to someone, so I'm going to tell you is like I told them. So let me get this right. You criticize me. By the way, I never see anyone do their own PowerPoints and say, hey, Wayne, this is my rebuttal. Love to see it. But anyway, you criticize me because you say, well, you are taking a pragmatist point of view. I am. And that there is a spirituality that can't be absolutely proven for certain. Okay. That this has to be a matter of personal faith. Okay. And these unseen energies, deities, they can choose to manifest, but they don't. Okay. Not arguing with you. My rebuttal is this, though. If I were, let's just say, we'll do a hypothetical. If I showed you a 40-year-old male that was still living with his parents, still played with his dolls, still had imaginary friends, carried on imaginary conversations, would you say we got a problem here? Would you say that that individual has not developed emotionally? There's obviously something wrong if he's still believing, let's say she, in make-believe characters where you have conversations and you have your parties with unseen friends. So if you're saying that that is abnormal, but my questioning that if it's so powerful, why wouldn't it? You know, we're adults. You're supposed to be. Now, here in the United States, if you receive a summons to appear in court, I'm going to tell you what, your physical ass better be there in court, or they're going to send out a bench warrant for you and put your ass in jail. Well, we have a same standard that can't be applied then equally, unbiasedly. I mean, this is why we discuss these things. Here, we try to cover those things that are controversial. Listen, I challenge my belief systems every day. And you know what I have found? I'm a reed that is able to bend in the wind. I grow stronger with the resistance. I am not rigid without the ability to adjust. You keep that and you're going to get broken. And that's what we do here. And some people can handle it and some people can't. Two different universes. Isn't it so? April says, I take mine apart. Hey, listen, I think you have to. April, I agree with you. And that's what I do. I try to bring the type of books and the knowledge. I mean, my library does no one else any good. It does me a wonder of good. My wife sometimes complains that my office looks like, anyway. But that's how we learn. And I purposely will read material that challenges my fears, my beliefs, my perceptions. And, you know, I've learned something in life. You know, you take what jives with you and you leave the other behind. I mean, isn't that the way it is? And we're learning a lot. I think we're becoming, as a group, very powerful individually. People are seeing things. They're understanding things. And this is how we grow. I mean, Terry and Charlie, you know, they got it. They found out about the whole thing of sigils. They work. By the way, I just want to send my thoughts to Chris over at Forbidden Knowledge, Lois, Cajun Tarot Queen, all you folks that live down in Louisiana. We're thinking about you. Boy, I'm going to tell what, folks, if you believe in the power of thought, that thought can in fact influence the physical, we need to be coming together and get that storm to get caught up into the upper currents and get it the hell out of there. You know, one report, 8 inches of rain in 4 hours. Folks, that's wet. So you good people, you're part of this community, and we're sending the thoughts that we can push that thing on up into the jet stream and get it on out of here. So, yeah. By the way, so I wanted to go over a couple of other things when I was looking at these. You know, we have a most interesting thing of how serendipity works here. So this is our story on the fact that we know man's been around a long, long time. Something's happened. That's part of the mystery here. And if magic can give us that connection, that knowledge, I say, why not? look at this. We were talking yesterday about the fact the astronomers are instruments. We can't find anything. We can't find the aliens. Now, I know everybody says, oh, but wait a minute. There's no. This was actually from Cornell, by the way. So they've done a cheat sheet. Now, again, we have no, they didn't give us a manual. It's like bringing home a newborn baby. When you take them from the hospital, they don't give you a book. No, they don't tell you that, well, this is what you do. You're going to learn this on the go, baby. And all of us, you know what I'm talking about. So we only got us to use as a template. That's flawed right there. I mean, you know, we can't even figure out where we came from, much less, but it's the only life that we know of. Again, the whole video I did yesterday, this come out today. So this is now the new cheat sheet. So with this, we're going to be looking for things that don't even exist. We don't even know how to do this yet. This is what the whole story was about. But at least we're doing this because the current way of our process is depressing. It's not exciting. This is not the movie Contact, you know, that Carl Sagan helped write that script, by the way. And wouldn't it be great to have Jodie Foster, you know, come out and make the announcement that, hey, we got a signal. It would change our species like that overnight. Carl Sagan had one view of it. You know, who knows how it would be, but I happen to believe that if ever got out publicly, every world government would fall. Every financial structure system would fall. Maybe that's why they don't do it, huh? But again, we had to do a cheat sheet in order to be able to get to where we can say, well, there's life. I know. Oh, by the way, for all of those who still don't believe we didn't go to the moon, you have to explain these. Which, by the way, you can go to any planetarium, any university that has lasers and the ability to measure. It wasn't just Apollo 11, by the way. It was Apollo 14, Apollo 15. And by the way, the French sent one up there, and so did the Soviets. So apparently there. Now, this one I found very interesting, folks. These things all came in at the same time. All the new drugs, 0 benefits. It's kind of like where we've progressed as a species. We virtually have gone nowhere. I mean, if you take the Sumerian as, I would say, you know, this X marks the spot, let's begin to measure forward, we have regressed. I keep on telling you folks, it's coming. Amazon, according to some of the things I've read, they're going to be rolling this out next year. A robot in every home. By the way, this one can be summoned by voice. And if you don't think that they're not listening to you, well, Google admits now, yeah, we hate to tell you, but we're listening. Yeah. And as we begin to look at the millennials, it's so much is talked about, you know, they're throwing away religion, organized religion, by the tens of millions. Astrology, crystals. Yep, I kid you not. Look at this. This is where it's all coming down to. We know there's something more. And finally, in 100 years, we're already well on our way. We will be fully integrated. As I said last night, they get the chip into the brain. Ay. So, things are a-changing, folks. There is no doubt about it. And so, kind of today was just a follow-up. You know, I had another video that I did. YouTube didn't like it. Apparently it freaked a lot of people out. And I thought, well, for a Friday, let's just make the happy joy all the way into the weekend. And I did a video on the nothingness. In this, as you can see, I wrote this almost a year to the date. I began to discover back this, and I love the fact that, you know, on these channels, you've got a video diary, a video log. And I could see, as you can obviously see a year ago, I was coming to some conclusions here. I'm not reached any conclusion as a final fact, but you just got to continue to collect what you can see. And so what I have found about many people that I talk to is that they can't handle the fact that there may be absolutely nothing. That maybe what we call spirits are another race of beings that we never become. Maybe there is this sucking thing that sucks us back, but the nothingness. Now, it has a cognitive effect on people. And nothingness, as it's defined, it's the absent or the sensation of life or existence. Now, worthlessness, unimportant, insignificant would go into that. But here's the thing. Nothingness is not the oblivion. When I began to study this, I began to realize that there was something else. And I came down to basically about 11 points that I think all of us think about. Will I remember? Will all the wisdom I gain be lost? Is all wisdom transferred at death? Is all knowledge lost upon death? Can a spirit be manufactured? Perfect peace means no motion. Perfect peace means no resistance. Is death a spirit? If so, it lives. What is the purpose of death? Is not death perfection? Is wisdom universally the same? Deep, deep questions. I mean, as I said, you know, when you close your eyes and you get into the absolute dark, you don't see anything. But many of us do. So there is an other reality that I think that has to be thought about. Now, one of my mentors that has been one of mine for a very long time, Alan Watts, you know, he said, nothing is more creative than death, since it is the whole secret of life. It means that the past must be abandoned, that the unknown cannot be avoided, that I cannot continue, and that nothing can be ultimately fixed. When a man knows this, he lives for the first time in his life. By holding his breath, he loses it. By letting go, he finds it. Pretty cool, isn't it? I'd have to say Alan knew a thing or two about such. So in this, you know, it's the contention. Epicurus said, why should I fear death? If I am, death is not. If death is, I am not. Why should I fear that which I can only exist when I do not? You know, there was a group of philosophers, ladies and gentlemen, that we may be just incarnating their thoughts. They were before the religions. They dealt with organized religions of their days. There were those philosophers that incorporated, such as Philo. Philo was a radical Jew. You know, definitely would not have been considered in the family line of priesthood. And the point is, we had to deal with this fact that the earth was alone. That's why we began to think that a whole universe originated around us. Now we have come to these things, we've talked about it. Alan again says, you know, we're living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between the causative past and the absorbingly important future. And I'll continue. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. we do not realize that there never was, is, nor will be any other experience than present experience. We are therefore out of touch with reality. It says that we use about 90% of our capacity of thought processing. We allocate it to memory, and as Alan showed here, the future, which most people fear. So the nothingness, it said it's from which everything comes. It is said that the true God is the God that is nothingness. Now be curious again. Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then is he not omnipotent? Is he able, but not willing? Then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Then whence comes evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God? In mathematics, all numbers begin and end in zero. Do you know how important nothingness is in mathematics? In mathematics, nothingness starts with an empty set. What's inside an empty bag? Nothing. But that's something on which all mathematics is found. Schrodinger's cat. Is the cat alive or is the cat dead in the box? We know that when you look at a particle, it'll do the opposite of what you're thinking. That's on the quantum scale. Again, Alan, you yourself are the eternal energy which appears as the universe. You didn't come into this world, you came out of it. Like a wave from the ocean. You could say that your life, in essence, is nothingness. Nothing is more creative than death, since it is the whole secret of life. It means that the past must be abandoned, that the unknown cannot be avoided, that I cannot continue. So this is where I want to end out on it. There was only one door of light, and you already walked through it. Because we're all of the light. And in this journey that we are on, and I thank you for accompanying it. I told you it would never be boring. But it's fun. We challenge these things. I mean, wait till we get into the next installment of spirit conjuring. Folks, the only thing I can tell you, we're going to learn when you create your own magic circle and you begin to understand the 4 cardinal points. And then if you get into the 8 degree, and there's even a higher one than that. And then you begin to put within your portal. It's a personal portal. It really is. And folks, I can testify to the fact you open up something tangible. We just don't have the instruments to record it, what it looks like. I think maybe one day we will. Maybe someone in this audience will come up with such a device. I mean, if they come up with spirit boxes, and you got all the ghost hunting equipment now, and it's getting more sophisticated. We've got cameras all over. I read recently, they estimate, are you ready for this? That there is nearly 10 billion cameras watching. That's why we're catching more and more of this other species. I mean, maybe it's the fact that since we're of Earth, maybe this is the fact where we stay here. Maybe, I don't know, I'm hoping that like Thoth, I can go out and explore the multiverses. But maybe, maybe there's a class for that. There has to be. When you see enough of these paranormal cameras that capture them, I was watching one video that showed a hospital. I think it was in the Philippines. And there was something there. I mean, something was generating enough kinetic energy that sent this gurney. There was a nurse that he was walking as he was walking out, and he saw this gurney moving by itself, and he just turned around and went the other way. And, but yeah, and we're going to explore that. I think some of the master magicians knew this. I think that they understood. Now, eventually this earth will have its life cycle run out, or maybe not. I don't know. No one really knows. I guess it depends on our sun, right? But these are things we have no knowledge on. Maybe it discontinues. I have a feeling that the spirit realm is going to be really busy. I think it's going to be really crowded. As I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, I'm of the baby boomer generation. So I have no doubt that as I step through that portal, I will go back to my tribe and bring these experiences. I've told you the vision I had on that. Now, you could say, well, it was just a vision. Yeah, but it works for me. And I have a sense that I'll recognize, other rock and rollers. I mean, I'm certainly looking forward to looking up Tom Petty and a number of the others. I mean, they were gifted spirits, gifted souls. I can't believe that they don't carry that over, as you will carry over your giftings, what you've mastered in your life. And that's what it's about, folks. And I try to keep it, lively. And I'm not a negative person. Someone wrote that and said, you're a very negative person. I said, well, you haven't watched my videos. No, we teach here. That's what we do. And what we teach is not necessarily what we believe. Sometimes people hear you speak. I got a lot of instances where people don't even see the video. They'll make a comment, and I'm going, you obviously didn't watch the video, but okay. But, they sometimes hear you talk of something, and they naturally associate, well, this is what this guy believes. No. Don't put me in that. Not working it. On my read this weekend, I'm going to finish this. The Murder of Moses. This is a freaking good book. Something happened, baby. And that's what this video is about. Something doesn't feel right. And maybe this experiment is going, haywire. Maybe something else is here. Maybe there has been an arriving force, a presence. I don't know. I can't see any further than beyond what my reality is. In the book Biocentrism, the author on the book states that physicists, and when you talk about theoretical physics is that I'm sitting in my office in my house. Now I know across the street are my neighbor's house, but I can't prove that to you. And therefore the question then becomes, do they exist? They don't exist for you at all. They don't exist for me other than the fact that I know I can get up, I can move through physical space. I contend we're moving through multidimensional space. And I can then consciously somehow move this body through thought, which means, in essence, all of us are living our past. Very difficult concept of living in the present. The fact that I'm thinking and I'm speaking means that I've already thought it. So I'm basically speaking what my other self is already ahead that I haven't spoken yet. But the minute I speak it, it's already past tense. It's weird. Scramble your brains if you really get into it. It's like, okay. And so if you take the idea of the multiverse, the fact that we're moving through multiple dimensions, I just think that our dimension and the one that we have takes the presence of those other dimensions. And it very well may be in the spirit realm that thin membrane, I still contend, and I'll find out eventually. We all will. Now, if y'all going to get there ahead of me or something, be there waiting for me. And the others, I'll put up a sign, hey, if you were part of the group that met on, each weekday. Yeah. All right. Hey, Trina, how you doing, dear? Trina will be on next Tuesday, by the way. And I'm getting the all-star panel of moderators on here. So, Trina, I'm hoping you will be on there as well. So anyway, folks, we keep smiling, keep singing, whistle if you know how. I do. I whistle all the time. The spirits love it. It's a frequency. If you're a whistler like I am, I've whistled all my life, it's very powerful. I'm reading in some cases, some shamans believe that whistling could actually open certain portals. Because, you think about it, you're covering a lot of different frequencies, harmonics. Anyway, well, thank you, Susie Q. You're pretty far out too. Christopher, good to see all of you. Lost in space. Thank you. Another hour magically disappeared. I agree. It's come and gone. And I'm serious about this. I wrote this in the beginning of the comments. Folks, the weeks are becoming like days. I mean, this is weird. I sense more and more the trajectory of moving through space. I don't know if time is actually the right process, because write to me. Are many of you having episodes where it seems like you're in multiple places at the same time? Let me know. Bill Gates wrote a book called Business at the Speed of Thought. And I still contend that that's how we will travel the universe eventually. I think when we become spirit beings, we'll learn how to do that anyway. But I think the physical man will eventually understand that it's this, being able to travel across the cosmos, it says. All right. Appreciate it. Hey, David, I thank you. Exactly. Yeah, it's going weird. The perception of whole time, space, weird. All right. Have a great, strong end of the week. Enjoy it. And it's a hot one here, but it's summertime. And those of you down under, hello, Julie. And the rest of you, enjoy your winter down there. And I'll see you back here Monday. And on Sunday, I'll be over on Jeff's channel, the Christian Whistleblower, and our Not Your Normal Sunday show. All right, folks. Peace. All right. Be good. Bye-bye.